First of all, surrogacy in Russia is legislatively regulated, and it's legal, unlike many other countries. Secondly, fertility clinics in Russia provide quite a good level of care. Reproductive medicine in general is quite of a good standard in Russia. So IVF clinics aim at quite good success rates, comparable to those in Western Europe and the United States. The price, though, for the surrogacy in Russia is much lower than in most of the places where it's allowed. So if you speak about the United States or some Western European countries, the prices here would probably be twice as low as they would be in Western Europe or the United States especially. Speaking of the quality of IVF treatment in Russia, it's quite high, and surrogacy agencies aim at 40% success rate. That means that we aim to give a baby after the embryo transfer to the client in close to 40% cases. Obviously, this is subject to the egg age and the quality of the egg. We cannot say that this happens in every single case. Yes, there is, and there is quite a few. First of all, a surrogate mother, by Russian law, if she wishes to keep the baby, she will keep the baby, because she has primary rights to keep the baby. And sometimes, sadly enough, surrogate mothers choose to do so, and not really because they need the baby or they want the baby. Merely, they want money, more money from the client. A certain type of a blackmail. If you work with a good agency who has an established database of surrogate mothers, this risk is reduced to a minimum. Secondly, Russian legislation explicitly states that only registered families can go through the process of surrogacy. If you're a single mother, there will be an additional legal proceeding that you have to pursue. If you're a registered family, there are no additional legal proceedings. The process is quite smooth. For same-sex families, it's a little bit different. And we usually advise our clients, if these are two females, that one of the females states the case as a single mother case, so they don't state that there is a same-sex family. For same-sex male families, it's a little even more complicated, and their legal proceeding is quite difficult, and unfortunately we cannot guarantee the result. Russian legislation has its own peculiarities. I guess each country has its own peculiarities in the legal system. And also, a lot of companies try to attract clients with rather low prices for the base contract of surrogacy, whereas then the client comes to Russia, gets involved into the process, and then realizes that there are additional costs for IVF cycles, for medical providing, for prenatal care, for the delivery, for some legal paperwork, and so on and so forth. And obviously, needless to say, the client gets frustrated because the initial amount stated has nothing to do with the final amount paid. And in our experience, we've come to the conclusion that the ideal solution for the clients is an all-inclusive contract where you know in advance how much you're going to pay for everything. IVF, rest of medical expenses, legal expenses, and so on and so forth. The only things that you will pay on top will be your own travel expenses when you want to come to Russia.